down to the brief research. This is how and why they knew him, and that's exactly where their association ends. So, assertion. Or Mirabel. Blah, 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 blah. All right, at the time, Epstein was trying to set up a multi-billion-dollar charitable fund with J.P. Morgan that would potentially pool money from some of the world's richest people, wealthiest people. Epstein proposed that J.P. Morgan set up a fund with a minimum of $100 million contribution per individual and pay him millions of dollars in fees, documents show. In addition to the fees, the disgraced financier saw the fund as a way to rehabilitate his reputation, according to people he told it his thinking. It hinged on securing support from Gates, the documents show. Maybe there's an effort here to take a compromised billionaire like Gates and have his money actually be useful. And maybe Epstein is still a Fed. Or a spy, or maybe a combination of them. Epstein's messages, which were peppered with typos and spelling errors, tried to give the impression that he was a close Gates advisor. Gates wasn't included on emails in a review by the Journal. The Gates spokesman said Epstein Gates and was representing ties to connections with J.P. Morgan and others. In essence, this fund will allow Bill to have access to higher quality people, investment allocation, and governance without upsetting either his marriage or the sensitivities of the current foundation employees. Epstein wrote on August 16, 2011, to two top J.P. Morgan executives, Jess Stanley and Mary Aarons. Jess Stanley, of course, later got in trouble. I think he's resigned from the bank he worked at. He was Barclays or so. The next day, Bill is terribly frustrated. He would like to boost some of the things that are working without anyway, it goes on. While he was working on the charitable funds, Epstein met in 2013 with Gates and Norwegian officials who were visitors to Epstein's townhouse. Epstein told one former Gates Foundation employee that he knew the Norwegians and could help Gates win a Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to eradicate polio. Now, there's a lot of weird stuff here with the Nobel Peace Prize and all those weird connections there. There's the issue of how does Epstein know the Norwegians? Could it have been because of his involvement with the Oslo Peace Accords? Right? How did it come to be that he had these covenants? We don't know from the article. Gates and Epstein met together in March in Strasbourg, France, at the home of Thorbjorn Jagland, then chair of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee. That September, Epstein scheduled a meeting with Gates, Jagland, and others at his townhouse. Documents show. It goes on. Documents show that Mr. Gates met with Norwegian officials to discuss the security situation in Afghanistan. Very weird, right? As part of Mr. Gates' work on polio medication. We know, by the way, that polio had actually gone up during this meeting, which Gates was working on polio eradication. And we know that from the Netflix show that documented Gates and Buffett's efforts to try to end polio. Mr. Gates has never been focused on or campaigned for the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize. Well, that's obviously not true. We know that he thought he was going to win a Nobel Peace Prize, that he was interested in pursuing that, and that he sort of saw that as the capstone for his career in philanthropy. All right, several years of discussion with J.P. Morgan, Gates, and others failed to get the charitable fund for Epstein or Gates' commitment to it. Yes, but we also know that Gates' charity during that time had all kinds of turnover at the Gates Foundation. And then indeed, when evidence came out about how compromised Bill Gates was by Epstein, there was a clean sweep of a lot of people who worked at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and that actually his wife, Melinda, was very helpful to those efforts. So it goes on about the sum. The spokesman for Gates said he didn't make a payment. Gates had no financial dealings with Epstein. Ba, 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 ba. Epstein changed his will and named Nikolic as a backup executive. And Nikolic said Epstein didn't discuss the idea with him beforehand, and that he subsequently declined his service. He couldn't have listed Bill because that would have been too obvious that he chose me. I have come to believe it was likely a retaliatory move against Bill Gates. Yes, or maybe he was trying to encourage people to look closely into Mr. Gates before he died. That's a sort of interesting question that we might pursue and might think through. Anyway, so that's the article in question. I think there's a lot of fun stuff going on there. And I think it's a very interesting topic. And I see that we have some people who are being targeted in this space for participating in this space by sort of Israeli actors and others, which suggests to me that we're actually getting kind of close to the question at hand. Bill Gates, of course, was very pro-Israel, has been very pro-Israel, oddly, and he's, of course, on the list of American donors to, or potential American donors that I think the Jerusalem Post posted to Bibi Netanyahu, which is important. Same thing, Rupert Murdoch's on there as well. Go ahead, Dana.
Have you ever looked into the connections with Bill Gates' mother?
I have not. Tell me about this.
Well, her maiden name is Maxwell. I find that very interesting since Robert Maxwell. And she was on the board of United Way, and that is when she had met John Opel, who was the head of IBM at the time, and that's where they met, and that's how she introduced him to her son. They got his career kind of started in his own.
Well, I know that K&L Gates, the law firm in question, had a connection with both Microsoft. K&L Gates, of course, is the law firm that Bill Gates' father worked for. And K&L Gates is also deeply connected both with the Israelis, but also with the Jack Abramoffs people.
Yes, I will say that, Jack Abramoff. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it connected to Alabama too a long time ago.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
or at least to deprive the billionaires of their fortunes. Now, whether he was doing that for his own personal enrichment, which is possible, or he was doing that to help the U.S. is sort of an interesting question in its own regard. We've obviously seen over the last few years that there have been a number of these foundations.
how do you play
notably the
the
Soros
review?
Foundation, with the Open Society Foundation, which has had a change in management, and we've seen that with a number of foundations. And there's this long tradition of basically from the progressive era of basically taking these large robber baron fortunes and taking them over, pressing them into the service of the state. It's well worth paying attention to all of that. And what role Epstein could have provided, given that he was, Mr. Connector, that he was plugged into all these different networks. Maybe, for example, he was trying to build this large charitable foundation, not to burnish his reputation, but because he was trying to do a solid to the U.S. government, which wanted to see a number of these assets be taken away from the compromised billionaire class.
Mm.
I know we're kind of not yet ready for the narrative of Epstein as hero, but maybe Epstein as anti-hero, or Epstein as turned asset for the U.S. commercial intelligence. I think it's more in keeping with this history. Anyway, those kind of just general thoughts. I want to invite up some people. If you want to come up and speak, you can feel free. There's some other issues that we have to sort of consider. Just kind of thinking about this article, sort of other questions here as well. Obviously, there's some interesting photos. I know, Dana just sent me an interesting photo of Bill Gates, and who is that person he's with? I've seen him before.
Peter Nagard.
Peter Nagard, and what happened
The pedophile. He was a pedophile. Well, not pedophile, but maybe pedophile, but it was he had the Bahamas prostitution, sex trafficking down in the Bahamas. He's from Canada, fashion designer, and they got him in New York as well.
Yes, and of course he got in trouble and was recently defeated in a lawsuit with Louis Bacon, who of course is a hedge fund magnate.
His neighbor.
Yeah, his neighbor, and there was like a $200 million settlement or something crazy like that. So quite interesting in that regards as well. Louis Bacon, for those who don't know, is widely thought to be a CIA-connected billionaire operating down in the Bahamas.
I wonder if he's related to the multi-million-dollar Bacon or
I don't know. It's a good question.
with your tires.
Yeah, I don't know if my understanding is he made a lot of money. He's done a lot of money predicting geopolitical events correctly, which, speaks of some kind of intelligence tie. But yeah, let's put that photo up in the Jumbotron, Dana. I think that photo's worth talking about. Let me put that up. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, I think
a Jumbotron. I know how to put it underneath. The conversation.
you just share it. You tweet it and then you share it.
Oh, that's right.
But I just shared it, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. I forgot you do have to share that. That's fine. Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else want to come up and say something or share something about Bill Gates? I know we've talked about before, Tom, I think we were talking about Bill Gates earlier, and the sex stuff going on with Bill Gates. Let's see here. Yeah, that he was very involved with the swingers clubs. Obviously he carried out a sexual relationship with Melinda. Melinda was the subordinate of his at Microsoft. So I found that to be kind of interesting.
What about the engineer that worked at his house that was busted with over 60,000 child pornography and they let him go?
I don't know about. I knew about that, but I don't know. I haven't read deeply on that. So maybe we can share that. We can do that as well. All right. see if I have a few other. Okay, Karsh. Go ahead, Karsh.
Hey Charles, hey guys, I was gonna ask you, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, it seems like there's a civil war in American, not American intelligence, but just intelligence. But I was gonna ask this, do you reckon, I've seen this one popular, like, e-grifter on Twitter kind of guy, Matt Wallace, I've seen him. So he uploaded, he said, oh, I want to release some things about Bill Gates. Do you reckon Bill Gates will go down?
Go down. What do you mean? And then, I mean, I think Bill
Go
Gates
down.
is already go down. But
I'll go down as in and go to prison for like a very long time. In that sense.
I think so. I think that it's so too useful. But I think what is interesting is that the network compromise people billionaires, I think, is being locked down. And I think partly it's because Microsoft itself had all these issues with foreign compromise because of all the holes that were placed within its software. And obviously, we're seeing lots of trains, lots of other critical infrastructure be hacked by the Russians or Israelis. And that's very much what's driving a lot of what's going on with Microsoft right now. And of course, for those who don't know, Microsoft has obviously set up OpenAI. It's sort of acquiring Helion, which is another company that Sam Altman has backed. And those companies are really Chinese in their connections. NVIDIA chips that are being used there. That's what's driving a lot of the chips that are used for OpenAI. So it's a very important detail. And there's this article that I've also posted up on the Jumbotron about David Baroff connections with Epstein, because I think those are important too. I think there's also the question here we should think about how a lot of these activities, things like chess, Peter Thiel is of course very involved in chess. I've talked about his connections with Gary Kasparov, who's kind of fake Russian defector, which I think needs to be paid attention to. Kasparov also has all these weird connections with the Israelis. I know we talked a lot about, the kind of Lacoute connections here with chess, which I think need to also be kind of adequately explored.
What about Charlie Munger? Maybe that would fall into this category somewhere.
There is some weird Charlie Munger stuff, but I'm involved with a federal investigation and stuff around Charlie Munger, so I won't be talking about that at this time. Go ahead, Karsh.
Hey Charles, it's funny you said that because I know you must know this, and a few other people might know this in the school, but chess, I used to play chess and I still play a lot. A lot of the highest level AI, when they're developing it, they use chess engines and that kind of thing. So it's almost related to tech and quote unquote AI. I don't believe AI really, I don't believe in the method of it, but yeah, the computer machine one.
If we're going to talk seriously about chess, we can maybe do a space just on chess because I think it's worthy of study. For those who don't know, I was a chess champion in high school. That's something I've been heavily involved in. I don't really engage with it much these days, other than to play it kind of semi-casually, or to play it when I'm traveling in Bryant Park or whatever. It's sort of a great way to relax. So I'm a fan of the game. But obviously, the chess world has been rocked in recent years with a number of scandals around it, and I think that is well worth paying attention to. And of course, there's the famous chess folks from for those who don't know, Kasparov promotes NFTs. Yes, that's quite right. I've written about Kasparov, and I met Kasparov. I was introduced to him by an Israeli spy when I was in Norway. And so I've known Kasparov and run into Kasparov in different ways over the years. He's a very interesting figure, one that's requiring careful attention. But on the chess stuff, there's this big chess tournament. I want to say it's in St. Louis, and it's by this guy.
Yeah,
What
so
was his name? It'll come to Eric Garland over here. He tell us immediately. Rex Sinkerfield. Yes, thank you. Rex Sinkerfield, of course, heavily involved in the chess world as well. One way to think about chess is chess draws in all these very, pattern-seeking, semi-autistic young men, largely, not exclusively, but largely, and how useful that can be for an intelligence gathering purpose. I think it's well worth paying attention to. Go ahead, JJ.
Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. This question maybe has a few dimensions, and feel free to go wherever you'd like with it. I noticed some kind of parallels or themes in some of the things we've been discussing, not just tonight, but in the past, such as the Shinzo connection and how Netanyahu was bragging about getting Pfizer's first contracts, and in a sense of kind of preoccupation or obsession with collecting DNA and biometrics between both Israel and China, but also for Gates and Epstein and yourself personally being involved in genomics. So DNA kind of stuff. Seems there's a drive or a common thread, to for national security purposes, obviously, to know about how the changing nature of humans or transhumans in the upcoming fourth industrial revolution, but how would you separate that from, just the capitalist element of it and saying, okay, we're doing this for profit or make money, or, we're doing this for national security. Are there any other kind of positive benefits, or does it just boil down to defense and money?
Well, yeah, as for my view, for those who don't know, I'm the CEO of a company called Playfell, a company that seeks to help people.
hey, Julius, what's up?
I do believe that
Hey, what's up, Julius?
as time goes on. And I don't relationship. I think it's not a coincidence that
I'm in Twitter space, listening.
the first investors in 23andMe.
Are you on Twitter?
Important detail.
Add me on Twitter.
Of careful attention. So too, by the way, was
Twitter spaces are hot now. Is
And
that you, Julius?
23andMe itself is backed not only by the Google folks, but also by
Oh, damn it.
all kinds of very kind of strange figures like Barry Diller's wife, Rupert Murdoch, and his wife.
Who are you?
There's kind of a lot going on there.
Okay,
my
it's you.
view generally is I do believe that
Add me on Twitter.
take these issues seriously. I do believe that there is
Twitter spaces are big. That's where the next
stopped or caught or processed
opportunity is
by the availability
to make gold
of
money.
genealogy, which is
Julius, to get that gold money, Kyle. Twitter spaces. I want to send you my profile link. Okay, there you go. Add me. Man, internet is boring these days, man. No one doesn't stream. He says nobody wants to talk to nobody. And plus, oh, we blocked them. So, I don't know, man. I do I play a little bit of Counter Strike. I upload it. I suck. But I'm trying to get back to my glorious days. And now it's Twitter Spaces. So, if we can connect, I don't know. The Twitter desktop app needs improvement. If I can have this on Twitter, it'd be awesome. Where did you go, you fucking Jew? I had a great idea for making money. Okay, fuck you. I'm going to Twitter Spaces.
sure, but
He took my idea. He ran away with it. Fucking kite. What? You ran away to do my idea to make money? You feel the kind. What should we do? Oh, look, I'll get fiber optic in about a couple of days. This week I will have fiber optic. 50 upload, 50 download. I'll be able to OBS stream. Right now I'm not able to use OBS for the stream over the VPN because everything is filtered, right? I have to use it anyway. I'll have fiber optic, and that's it. I will start a podcast. If you want to be a member of it, let me know. Okay, I know you're here. Stay, and we're gonna then we'll go through the news of the day. It'll be a live news podcast. I already learned OBS. I've taught it to myself, and it'll be a lot of fun. So stay put, okay? Stay put for a couple of more days. Then we'll start the podcast. Okay, man. If we can connect Twitter space to YouTube, the X app, X, X, OBS will do that.
Yes. And of course, some of the biggest investors in that kind of thing were people like Rebecca Mercer, Christian Engelmeyer, and those types of people. So yeah,
Listening to this, so
important and interesting question.
9:30 a.m. I have nothing to do, so put this here.
My telling on it, just for what it's worth.
This guy is so smart. Let me.
I've come to the conclusion that there's an off.
No,
That's
take my hand up. Put my hand up.
And then they use
Talk about chess. This guy's a chess player. He met Gary. This guy is.
And that's really like nothing draws a crowd like a crowd.
He's going to sponsor us.
A lot of crowdfunding as well.
He's a big guy.
They look like they could be crowd funds, but are in fact foreign intelligence operations.
A small donation appears to be a crowd support.
This is my moment, Judas. This is my moment
Yes, precisely that.
to shine. Join the Twitter space.
Tom, is there anything you think we should add here? Are we missing anything in our discussion?
Don't skip me. I have my hands up. Let me speak.
Tom? Maybe Tom stepped away.
Tom stayed.
Does anyone else want to come up?
Yeah, I have my hands up.
So we have some people. I don't know some of them, so I'm afraid we'll have to put them on.
Oh, come on.
Rick may have some interesting things to say. And
Son of a
Rick
bitch.
has interesting stuff, but doesn't really speak in the space.
He doesn't know us. So much for
We
democracy.
may call it a Jew in about 15 minutes or so. Did you fall asleep, Tom? There's the peril of doing these things late at night, I suppose. All right. Cars, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Charles, do you know roughly when you could do the space about chess, AI related activity in general, the whole chess
Arrival.
a lot of it has strong relations to AI, like machine learning, that kind of thing. Do you reckon do you have a date, or is it just going to be spontaneous at space?
I don't know, actually. It's a good question. Let me think on when to do that. I've written about chess. If you read my Substack, you'll see some of the stuff I've talked about with chess and the connections of Kasparov.
I need a Substack.
I think that there's a lot to do.
Learn chess. Judas. Yo,
I myself
Judas.
assume that AI doesn't
learn chess.
unless the system is
The basics.
What's called a kind game. So things like biology,
British
like
too,
visual
perhaps.
recognition are kind games. Chess is a kind game. Dota is a kind game.
Any
So a lot of
kind.
things that
It's
are
brutal. It fucks with your head.
kind, as in they're not too complicated. I don't think that's true of driving. I don't think that's true of all kinds of things.
It's psychological,
in
though.
our day-to-day activity. And I think that think we're already kind of starting to see that as time has gone on. So I think the best combinations are kind of hybrid humans and machines. And indeed, that's kind of what we've seen from the chess school. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, it's the same with even the self-driving cars, the Teslas. They don't really exist in a large amount.
I still have my hands up in his face. He said he ain't gonna take some hands because they don't know them.
It's not.
He don't know them. And I don't care. I'm gonna have my hands up so he'll be embarrassed for not providing freedom of speech. This this guy have access to some secrets. Where did he go?
You don't know.
My Substack. My Substack. Okay, good. Karsh, what a name, Karsh. Hello, Karsh. Yes, that was a fart. British nigger. Yeah, you already said that. What's up, Judas? What's going on, man? How is America? Oh, tell the who I'm just gonna turn on to a farce, man. You know, shit. We're in break out of America, man. That's where the U.S. $1 is. I think it's time I take my hand down. My God, fuck you. America is gay. Then where? Where? He got it. That's where the short see. A lot of nigga y'all, no, no. Fucking faggot. Oh, good luck. I want to do that here. Watch that later. Information. Mm. Learn about Dershowitz. Are you on Twitter? Are you following me on Twitter? Send me something on Twitter so I'll know your Twitter handle. What is your Twitter handle? Mm. Mm. Thank you. Hello, baby. Hi, baby. Oh, yeah, I found you. Hey, baby. followed you on Twitter. Nice profile pic. It's funny. It's cool. On the 37th, go follow some people, man. It's some
Message.
Twitter is important. Huh? Jesus was a fraud and his mother was a whore. How dare Judas? Come on, man. I mean, dude, people won't like that. Jesus. I mean, come on, man. No wonder you don't have any followers, huh? You're not Mossad, are you? Ah, you smoke weed every day, just like me. Uh, 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 uh. Uh, uh. Why do you hate me? I don't really go on Twitter. Okay, I'm not hating. Don't go on Twitter. Go on Twitter, man. What do you mean? Uh, Lots of countries have lots and lots of bioweapons stuff. An era in which we have, person-specific bioweapons, and the bioweapons for, or viruses that are narrowly tailored to kill them. I think that is not as much around science fiction as we might once well have thought. What I find really interesting about the COVID stuff is actually how few deaths we actually had, and how wildly different the reactions were from all the different NATO countries when it came to recommendation. Mm. Mm.
vis-a-vis the.
Now, early, you can kind of understand that maybe, you know. A month or two. But the protocol was go home, and if you get really sick, your oxygen levels drop, you know, you're in trouble, come to the hospital. By then, it's too late.
Hmm. Hmm. The urchin was rafting. Oh. I had to go take a shower. Here, should I leave this on? I didn't even need a shower, man. I need coffee too. My conundrum. I want to take a shower. Listen to this. Mm. Everybody talks except me, huh? Fucking ass face. Ah, that's your tribe. Judas, you still here? You ran away? You're a weird creature, Judas. The fuck? Yeah. Blocked by Dana. Woo-hoo!